This is 1982p Canadian dollar in MS67 plus condition. The 1982p Canadian dollar is one of the scarcer issues in gem condition. It is similar in scarcity to the 1984D and 1990D. The 1982p is common in circulated grades up to MS65 grade. In MS66 it's a little bit tougher but still easily available, with hundreds if not thousands still out there. In MS67 it now becomes very scarce. This gem was sold for $2,925 with buyer's fee. This is 1972 Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition with full steps. Gorgeous gold and pastel rainbow tones grace both sides of this premium gem. Lustrous and fully struck, this is a fantastic piece for the registry collector. It was sold for $2,500. Here is 2000p Sacagawea dollar in MS68 condition, graded in mint state 68 by NGC. The so-called curious dollars were distributed as a promotional gimmick in boxes of breakfast cereal. The characteristics that distinguish them from ordinary 2000p Sacagawea dollar is detailed feather work on the eagle's tail feathers. This example is exceptionally well preserved, with bright, semi-reflective brass gold surfaces. It is housed in a custom 2-coin NGC slab with 2000 Lincoln cent, which is graded MS66 red. It was sold for $6,600. This is 1974 Eisenhower dollar in MS66 plus condition. Predominantly pearl gray surfaces reveal intermingled powder blue, olive gold and pale pink highlights under a light. Expertly produced and very carefully preserved. With a mintage of more than 27 million coins, the 1974 copper nickel Eisenhower dollar is not a rare issue. However, not a lot of attention was paid to it at the time of production and few gems are known. Several factors account for lack of nice examples. They were carelessly made and had overall low relief, making them more susceptible to early wear, especially when jostled around in pockets or stored in sacks. These MS66 Plus specimen fetched a sum of $2,640 at auction, and the most expensive lot of these episodes, 1926S Lincoln cent in MS65 red condition. During 1940s and 50s, collectors retrieved numerous 1926S cents from circulation, providing a supply of worn pieces for modern numismatists. However, circulated representatives become noticeably more elusive in AU levels, and mint state examples of this issue are all more challenging to locate, particularly with original red color. Most mint state examples known are either attractively lustrous but poorly struck, or sharply impressed but toned brown. This specimen is fully lustrous. Satin orange gold surfaces yield boldly rendered design elements, and the eye appeal is nothing short of remarkable for the issue. It ended up selling for $102,000. 1941 Washington Quarter in PR68 plus condition. Bright silver gray interiors border amazing peripheral shades of peach orange, magenta, violet and forest green hues on both sides. The underlying surfaces of this superb gem proof are unmarked and fully struck up. Destined for the finest collection of the proof Washington Quarters, it was sold for $3,720 on August 18th, 2023. This is 1965 Jefferson nickel from Special Mint set, a profound strike and condition rarities that combines an uncommon degree of field to device contrast for the type with virtually pristine surfaces and toned with captivating silver-white appearance. The 1965 is the most challenging of the three regular issue SMS Jefferson nickels of the 1960s to locate with deep camera designation from PCGS. This proof gem ended up selling for $3,120. Here is 1978 Eisenhower dollar in MS67 condition. According to tax powers roughly handled by Treasury Department employees and bank personnel, circulation strike Ike dollars as a type are rare in superb gem mint state. This final year Denver mint example is impressively smooth with subtle toning in iridescent powder blue and champagne apricot. It was sold for $1,140. Moving on with his 1929S Lincoln cent in MS66 plus wet condition. The 1929S is one of more challenging issues in the Lincoln cent series in gem or finer full red grades, and it is rare at the premium gem red level. Satiny copper orange luster encompasses each side, while the design elements show above average definition. A few tiny carbon specks are noted upon close examination, though the surfaces are otherwise beautifully preserved. It was sold for $14,400. 1912 S Lincoln cent in MS65 Plus red condition. The 1912 S is a challenging date to acquire with full red color, and it is particularly scarce at the gem level. This high-end beauty boasts lovely copper red coloration and strong luster throughout. This one was sold for $3,112. This lot includes set of two 1968S error nickels. First one is a mint state 64 red and is struck on a Lincoln cent, so-called double denomination coin. The second one in mint state 65 red, struck on a cent Planchet. This lot fetched a sum of $1,440 on August 20, 2023. Here is 1920 Lincoln cent in MS67 Plus red condition, comes with green CAC sticker on this PCGS slab. A CAC proven coin refers to a coin that has been evaluated and endorsed by the Certified Acceptance Corporation. CAC is a third-party coin authentication and grading service that focuses on the evaluating coins that have already been graded by major grading companies such as NGC or PCGS. This CAC proven superb gem was sold for $25,312.50 with buyer's fee. Here is 1944 Washington quarter struck on a zinc-plated steel planchet, graded in mint state 62 by NGC. A magnetic zinc-plated steel sands were struck in 1943, and the alloy was also used in 1944 to strike a much smaller quantity of 2 francs at Philadelphia Mint for war-torn Belgium. One of the aforementioned zinc-plated steel sands, in use for only 2 years, ended up between 1944 Washington quarter dies to become these of metal mint error. The present mint state example was struck flush with color die near 6 o'clock and has a bold date. Liberty and the denomination are altogether absent. This wartime error quarter was sold for $16,800. Moving on with this 1964 Lincoln cent struck on silver 10-cent blank. Due to insignificant amount of difference in planchet size, all letterings are available, though In God We Trust is little bit distorted and weakly struck. Overall coin has a very nice eye appeal, graded in mint state 65 by PCGS. This error penny was bargained for $1,260. This 1920 Lincoln cent struck on an experimental planchet, graded in mint state 64 by PCGS. The PCGS insert states alloy is 82% copper, 16% zinc, and 2% tin, which sands, aside from 1943 dated steel issues, are typically 95% copper. This satiny and well-struck sand has olive gold color unusual for a Lincoln cent of any year. Essentially devoid of marks, though we note small spots near the ST in the trust and relatively small spot east of the Lincoln's nose. The Obverse ring between 1:30 and 3 o'clock has a few minute depressions as made. It ended up selling for $5,280. Moving on with this attractively toned 1958 D Washington quarter in MS67 Plus condition, vivid, iridescent hues frames Obverse of this high-end superb gem. Only a portion of Washington's neck remains free of the color. Rainbow toning also runs around the outer edge of the lower half of the reverse. It was sold for $4,700. Here is an error $1/2 1971 D Kennedy 50-cent piece struck on a 40% silver planchet. Like the famous 1943 copper cent, this coin was struck from a leftover planchet. The regular issue was comprised of only copper nickel clad coinage, as the silver clad coinage 40% silver, seized in 1970. It was sold for $3,910. This is 1950 Washington quarter with a punched mint mark, D/S variety, high-end guidebook coin. An unusual pair of our mint marks are the mirror twin 1950 DS and 1950 SD Washington quarters. This is a remarkable high-end example of the former, brightly lustrous, with just a hint of frostiness and light canary yellow toning over much of each side. Minor striking softness is of little concern compared to an over mint mark that is visible to a sharp unaided eye. It was sold for $13,800. Here is 1959 Washington quarter in MS67 condition with CAC approval. According to Heritage, prior to 1959, mint sets were issued in cardboard and paper holders with high sulfur content that created level iridescent toning. However, beginning in 1959, the mint switched to a thin plastic packaging that protected the coins from toning. For that reason, 1959 through 1964 silver coins are seldom found with any toning. This impressive exception to that rule exhibits lovely gold, blue and violet on both sides, with brilliant underlying mint frost. This nearly perfect example was sold for $4,700. 1942 The Washington quarter in MS68 condition. The Washington quarter struck prior to the mid-1990s are common in MS68 PCGS holders. The 1942D is a good representation of rarity of these coins, surviving the extent of just 6 coins in this grade at PCGS with another 4 at NGC. According to Heritage, this example displays near flawless satiny mint luster and a bold strike. Original multicolored toning adorns each side. Sold on July 21, 2023 for $6,300. A 1970D Canada half dollar graded as MS67 is relatively rare and valuable, but its specific value can vary depending on several factors. The 1970D Canada half dollar is notable because it's one of the lower mintage years in the series. While it's not rare as 1970 SMS version, it still has a lower mintage compared to other years, which can contribute to its collectible value. The grade MS67 indicates that the coin is in uncirculated condition, with only minor imperfections. In these high grades, the coin is considered to be in exceptional condition and desirable to collectors. The value of a coin will depend on its condition and demand from collectors, and overall market conditions at the time of sale. Typically, coins graded MS67 can command a premium over lower grade coins, but prices can fluctuate over the time. For example, this particular gem was sold for $9,843.75 with buyer's fee. Here is 1941 the Jefferson nickel in MS68 condition with 5 full steps on reverse. The 1941D, like many Jefferson nickels, is plentiful in general. However, it becomes a major condition rarity in the higher full steps grades. This enchanting example displays pristine mint luster cast in a delicate iridescent toning. The strike is sharp and neither side has a single notable abrasion. It ended up selling for $3,000. 1924 D Lincoln Cent in MS65 red condition. According to Heritage, 10 years removed from producing less than 1.2 million Lincoln cents in 1914, the Denver Mint again accomplished a meager total of 2.5 million pieces in 1924. The 1924 D serves as a popular semi-key that commands a substantial premium even on lower grades. All mint state coins are scarce regardless of color, while fully red examples represent the cream of the crop. It was sold for $13,800. This is 2000 P Sacagawea dollar struck on an Anthony dollar planchet, graded in MS68 condition by NGC. Intense cartwheel luster springs boldly throughout the near-perfect gem surfaces of this important off-metal, wrong planchet error dollar. The strike is sharp and crisp on both sides, with even the tiniest of the details fully represented. Low magnification reveals 2 light vertical die cracks on Sacagawea's portrait, both beginning on her forehead. The host planchet of the present rarity, a copper-nickel clad Susan B. Anthony dollar blank composed of an outer core of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to an inner layer of pure copper, is no doubt from the Susan B. Anthony coinage of the year 1999. As described in the 100 Greatest U.S. Error Coins written by Nicholas P. Brown, David J. Kemire, and Fred Weinberg, this type of error coin came about when a leftover planchet intended to be struck for 1999 Susan B. Anthony dollar dies was actually struck by Sacagawea dollar dies. This is referred to as an off-metal transitional error, and it is very rare. It was sold for $16,450. 1959 Roosevelt Diamond PR68 Deep Cameo condition. The PR stands for proof, indicating that this dime is a specially made coin for collectors, not intended for general circulation. Proofs are struck using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a sharp, mirror-like finish. The numeric grade 68 signifies that this coin is in excellent condition, with only minor imperfections visible under magnification. The deep cameo designation refers to the high contrast between the frosted design elements and the mirror background. It indicates an exceptionally well-struck and visually stunning coin. This true gem ended up selling for $3,620.75 with buyer's fee at Great Collections auction. Here is 1914D Lincoln Cent in MS65 red and brown condition. According to Heritage, the 1914D has a secondary key date compared to the 1909 SVDB, but it is actually the scarcer coin in high grade. This gem red and brown example displays satiny luster and well-defined motifs with minimal dye erosion in the margins. A carbon spot on the bottom of the C in cent is a pedigree marker. It was sold for $6,600. 1959D Lincoln Cent Mule is a rare and valuable error coin that was created when two different coin dies were mistakenly paired during the minting process. In numismatics, a mule refers to a coin that has obverse and reverse designs that were not intended to be paired together. In the case of 1959D Lincoln Cent Mule, it features a wheat ears reverse design that was used on Lincoln Memorial cents. It features a wheat ears reverse design instead of Lincoln Memorial cent reverse design, which was introduced in 1959. This combination of different designs was not supposed to happen, making the mule coin a rare and highly sought after error. These error coins are considered highly valuable to collectors due to its rarity and unusual combination of designs. The exact number of mule coins produced is not precisely known, which adds to their mystique and desirability among coin enthusiasts. It was sold for $48,300. Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating content. This is 1923 S Lincoln Cent in MS65 red condition. The 1923S is a challenging issue in the red color category, most often seen in MS64 but occasionally in MS63. Gem red pieces are notably rare. This coin is showing satiny copper orange and golden hues with well-struck design elements and remarkably little evidence of die fatigue. A few microscopic flecks are discernible on each side. It was sold for $60,000. This is 1966 Canadian dollar from Special Mint set, graded in Mint State 68 condition with deep cameo. A truly remarkable example of both the type and the issue. Both sides are fully untoned with bold field-to-device contrast. Virtually pristine as well, and sure to catch the eye of discerning Canadian dollar collectors. Also, the Mint improved the quality of 1966 SMS half-dollar issue after receiving complaints about its 1965 SMS predecessor. Precious few survivors from a mintage of 2,261,583 pieces exhibit enough contrast to support a deep cameo designation from PCGS. This gem was sold for $7,200. This is 1915 S Buffalo Nickel in MS66 condition. Elusive specimen with dynamic, beaming mint luster. This seemingly perfect San Francisco mint nickel boasts a wondrous eye appeal and soft pink highlights and a very nice strike. It was sold for $6,969. A rare error coin 1972 S Eisenhower dollar. Double struck, both strikes off center, graded as PR67 cameo by NGC. The first strike was approximately 40% off center toward 12 o'clock. The second strike is about 35% off center toward 1 o'clock. The date and the mint mark from the second strike are bold. The date and the mint mark from the first strike are faint, but visible due to north of their second strike impression. Colorfully toned apple green, cream gray, and autumn brown. A dramatic error on a brown Ike. Proof 40% silver Eisenhower dollar. It was sold for $7,800 on August 17, 2023. This is 1943 Washington quarter with double die obverse, graded as AU58 by PCGS. AU stands for About Uncirculated, the highest grade designation for circulated coin. In God We Trust and the date are strongly doubled, as are initial letters in Liberty, lustrous and minimally abraded, with delicate almond gold and stone gray toning. It was sold for $10,281.25. This is 1909 VDB Lincoln Cent Proof. Red gem in PR65 condition. The rarest of the proof Lincoln cents in the 1909 VDB. Only 1194 coins were produced, and yet its issue is even scarcer than that mintage suggests. Later mud proofs such as 1915 and 1916 have even lower mintage, and yet they are more plentiful today than 1909 VDB. Some researchers suggest that only part of reported mintage was ever released, which if true could account for the scarcity of this issue today. It was sold for $33,600. This is 1999 D Roosevelt dime in MS69 condition with full bands. A superb business strike 10-cent piece in threshold of numismatic perfection. Just one point prevents this dime from the finest grade available. That is MS70. Strike is tack sharp and both horizontal bands on the torch are delineated. It was sold for $1,800 on August 20, 2023. This is 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar struck on a Kentucky state quarter, graded in mint state 66 by NGC. According to Heritage, Kentucky is faintly evident near Liberty. The 2001 date is perceptibly beneath the slumbering infant, and the outline of the horse's head is also lightly apparent. According to the consignor, a well-known mint error specialist, this is the sole known example of a Sacagawea struck on a Kentucky quarter, a few degrees uncentered toward 5 o'clock. It was sold for $5,750. This is 1919 OS Lincoln cent in PR68 red condition. Comes with deep cameo designation from COİN grading service of PCGS for high contrast between liquid-like fields and frosty reliefs. Among Lincoln Memorial cents, the 1919 OS is the only missing mint mark proof variety, and the PR68 deep cameo PCGS coin, such as the present piece, is generally hotly contested by cent collectors. This one was sold for $2,760. This is 1923 piece dollar double struck, second strike off center. Date and motto "In God We Trust" is not fully struck. Backside of a coin displays poor impression as well. Graded in mint state 64, this error coin ended up selling for $18,000. This is 2000p Maryland quarter struck on a Clad dime Planchet, graded as MS64 by PCGS. The old line state is complete, as is virtually all of Maryland and Liberty. The mint mark is near the rim, but identifiable. State quarters struck on dimes are rarely encountered due to improved riddlers, and this lustrous and problem-free example was sold for $6,325. Here is 1983p Washington quarter broad struck and with partial brokerage, graded in mint state 65 by ANX. A brokerage error occurs when a coin is struck with another coin, or the same coin, that has already been struck, leaving an impression of one side of the coin on the other side. A partial brokerage error means that only a portion of one side of the coin has been affected by the error. To determine the specific value of your Washington quarter with partial brokerage error, it is advisable to have it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. This error quarter ended up selling for $168. This is 1944p Jefferson nickel struck on a silver dime Planchet, a rare error coin in MS63 condition. According to Heritage, the present lot is a lustrous example with light honey gold toning and minimal post-strike abrasions. The high points are incompletely brought up, and those areas retain the Planchet surface. The date and the mint mark are clear and complete. The strike is uncentered with most of wheat rust and United States off the flank. Liberty and the date have stretched appearance due to unstrained outward metal flow. It was sold for $2,400. And this is 2001 D Lincoln cent milled with Roosevelt dime reverse, graded in mint state 65 red by PCGS. A mule is a coin struck from mismatched dies. In the long history of US mint, only a few dozen mules are known, and many are unique. Among the many mule possibilities in American numismatics, the Lincoln cent Roosevelt dime mule is most likely to occur. The diameter for cent 90 mm and dime 80 mm are close, and both types have high annual mintage, often a billion or more pieces. Nonetheless, mules are great rarities. This illustrates fire red gem with noticeable contact The upper half of obverse and the reverse field near the base of the torch exhibit, distribute, minuscule, flex. It fetched a sum of $66,000 at auction. Thanks for watching this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating and daily updating coin related content. Have a nice day. 1942 Washington quarter in PR67 plus condition, struck in the final year of proof coinage until 1950. By 1942 proof production was way up and 21,123 pieces were produced, fully brilliant and extremely reflective with just a faint whisper of gold iridescence at the reverse periphery of this gem. It was sold for $1,680. PR's 1951 Lincoln cent and PR68 red cameo condition. This 1951 cent is tied with one another as the finest cameo at PCGS. A single dip cameo at the surface falls short at PR67 red. This virtually pristine registry set coin is boldly struck and starkly contrasted, showing rich copper orange color and deeply mirrored fields, completely carbon-free. It was sold for $9,987.50. Here is 1930 S double eagle or $20 piece, heavily worn coin, graded as about good 3 by PCGS. The 1930 S is among great melt rarities of the late St. Gaudens Double Eagle series. Roger Burdett ranks this issue as the third rarest in the entire series, with an extant population of only about 75 coins. This issue did not circulate, and the only examples surviving are those that were acquired directly from the mint cashier or were left over from the annual essay. The majority of 74,000 pieces struck were melted in 1930s. This example fetched a sum of $44,400. Here is 1990p Canadian dollar, struck 20% off center towards 11 o'clock, graded in mint state 66 by NGC. Error coins are coins that have some sort of anomaly or mistake in their production, which can make them valuable to collectors. In this case, the error involves the coin being struck off center, meaning that the design is not properly centered on the coin, most likely due to die misalignment. This error half dollar ended up selling for $660. This is 1965 Washington quarter, struck on a 90% silver planchet. PCGS assigned EU details as it comes with rim damage, a transitional wrong planchet error that's the result of an old standard 90% silver planchet intended for the coinage of 1964, getting into the production cycle for 1965 for the 1965 coins that were to be struck on the new copper nickel clad blanks. Scarce and always in demand, it was sold for $5,040. Here is 1944 Lincoln cent struck on an experimental planchet graded in mint state 62 by PCGS. During World War II, copper was an important munitions alloy, while silver was not. For example, silver was added to the wartime Jefferson nickel alloy while copper and nickel were removed. One can speculate that the present cent was intentionally struck as a part of an effort to replace unsuitable 1943 steel cent alloy, yet reduce the copper content of 1944 cents. In any event, this coin exists in its possibly unique silver-copper alloy. It is lustrous and nicely struck with unmarked surfaces and light golden brown toning. The reverse has a railroad rim near 9 o'clock. It ended up selling for $19,200. This is 1983 Lincoln cent struck on a copper planchet graded as AU55 by PCGS. The typical 1983 cent is copper-plated zinc and weighs 2.5 grams, a transitional alloy mint error akin to its more famous 1943 bronze predecessor. A possible explanation is that copper planchet became wedged in a hopper or mint cart during early 1982 and was finally dislodged the following year. A lightly circulated and moderately abraded mint green and chocolate brown example luster illuminates the legends. It was sold for $16,450. Moving on with this 1971 Jefferson nickel proof, graded as PR69 cameo by NGC. What makes this proof coin so valuable is that S mint mark is missing on Obverse, while the proof Roosevelt time series has a number of no S varieties. Only one such variety is recognized for the larger Jefferson nickel. This high-end no-S proof from 1971 has outstanding contrast and virtually flawless surfaces. The mirrors in particular are remarkable. It ended up selling for $3,450. Here is 1976's Bicentennial Quarter double struck on a Clad dime. Highly elusive double denomination coin in PR67 cameo condition. According to Heritage Auction, the struck Clad dime was overstruck twice by proof 1976's Bicentennial Quarter dies. The subsequent strikes have effaced the undertype design, but the diameter and reeded Clad edge confirms the undertype. Between the two strikes from quarter die, the coin rotated 100 degrees counterclockwise relative to the obverse side. From the first quarter strike, we see Washington's Q within his hair from the first strike. On the reverse, the drummer's left-facing hand remains from this first strike. The coin has two small border splits at 7:30 and 10 o'clock, and traces of copper interior are apparent along the reverse border. It was sold for $9,000. And here is phenomenally toned wartime quarter dollar, 1943 Washington quarter in MS68 condition. Previously from George's Army collection, according to Heritage. The large wartime mintage of this Philadelphia quarter was nearly 100 million coins, but this phenomenal MS68 example is tied with only 5 other pieces for the finest certified of the issue at the PCGS. Waves of iridescent color occupy both sides with gold, olive, crimson and indigo among them. It was sold for $23,000. 1920 Lincoln Center MS67 red condition. This is a breathtakingly beautiful example of both type and the issue that will serve as a highlight in the finest collection. Lustrous light orange surfaces retain full vivid color. The strike is full, the texture smooth and satiny, and the eye appeal is nothing short of extraordinary. It was sold for $5,760. Here is 1916D Mercury dime in extremely fine 45 condition. According to Heritage Auctions, the 1916D is considerably more challenging to find and shows extremely fine condition than it is in lesser or finer grades. This excellent collector's grade example is eminently attractive with smooth silver surfaces and rich gray accents surrounding the raised elements, sharp from stem to stern. The motifs are well defined and the eye appeal is strong. CEC endorsement confirms these key dates, high quality for the assigned grade. It was sold for $9,000. And this is 1932D Washington quarter in MS65 plus condition. Billowy satin luster greets the viewer from both sides of this smooth, highly attractive silver-tinged gem. Impressive technical quality and eye appeal for this key date and conditionally challenging issue from the first year of the Washington Quarter series. Though the 1932D's mintage of 436,800 pieces is nearly 30,000 more than its San Francisco Mint counterpart at grades of EF40 or finer, the 1932D becomes the key date of the series. This specimen ended up selling for $41,125. Thanks for watching this episode till the end. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe buttons below this video, and comment if you have such rare coins. Stay well. Here is 1984 Lincoln penny with double die Obverse, otherwise double ear Lincoln, graded in mint state 68 red by PCGS. Lincoln's earlobe is clearly die doubled northeast and his beard also shows doubling, a popular guidebook variety seldom encountered in essentially perfect condition. Even the use of glass fails to locate a contact or carbon. It was sold for $3,450. This 1950s Washington quarter in MS67 condition, attractively toned superb gem. The peripheries of this dazzling coin display partial halos of crimson orange, pale gold, and powder blue iridescence, brilliant in the centers and frosty throughout. Both sides are nice enough to suggest an even higher superb gem rating. It ended up selling for $2,880. 2002P Indiana quarter struck on a dime planchet, graded in mint state 64 by PCGS. A wrong planchet error on a briefly produced type. The Philadelphia mint mark is bold and complete, though close to the edge. The Indy race car and the Washington bust are also complete. The date and E pluribus unum are off flam, as is most of United States of America. It was sold for $17,400. This is 1924 the Lincoln Center MS64 Plus red condition CAC proven superb gem. According to NGC, the Denver Mint had not coined since the small production of early 1922, and demand for additional pieces returned very slowly to the region it served. Denver coined for the nation's breadbasket states, and American farmers were in distressed conditions throughout the decade. Most 1924 descents were poorly struck from quite worn dies. Fully red gems are very elusive, and mint state coins in any grade are in constant demand. It was sold for $4,749.75 with buyer's fee. Here is 1945p Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition, with remarkably vivid tonic and multiple colors, blanketing smooth, frosty features. According to PCGS census, a grading service certified 1980 specimens in MS67 grade, with only 4 numerically finer. This example was sold for $3,737.50. Here is 1909 SVDB Lincoln Cent in MS64 red condition, a fantastic key date with alluring luster and great surface quality. The 1909 SVDB cent is highly sought after and rare coin in the field of numismatics. It refers to a Lincoln cent that was minted in 1909 at the San Francisco Mint, and bears the initials VDB of the coin's designer, the Victor David Brenner, on the reverse side. The rarity of this coin stems from its limited mintage and historical significance as the first year of the issue for the Lincoln cent. Due to its scarcity and popularity among collectors, the 1909 SVDB cent often commands a high value in the coin market. This one was sold for $4,000. Here is 1943p Jefferson nickel struck on a steel cent Planchet, graded as MS64 by NGC, an amazingly lustrous steel white example of this 1-year-only error type, wherein a 1943p war nickel was struck on a blank meant for steel cent production. The date and the mint mark are visible in the entirety, though certain elements at the left peripheral on each side are partly cut off. It fetched a sum of $9,775. This is 1970s Lincoln cent from small date variety, PR69 red deep cameo, virtually pristine unsurpassed quality for this popular Lincoln cent variety in a PCGS holder. Serene surfaces are boldly cameoed in finish with deeply mirrored field supporting frosty design elements, fully struck as befits a method of manufacture with pinkish rose obverse color that yields to even more vivid reddish rose on the reverse. According to Stackspower, the little known fact about the small date variety of the Proof 1970s is that it's easier to attribute by looking at the word liberties than at the date itself. On examples of these varieties, the letters in Liberty weaken markedly from left to right. Here is 1926D Buffalo nickel with attractive toning, graded in mint state 67 by NGC. According to Heritage, no other issue in the series has quite the same reputation as the 1926D. That reputation is one for poor production quality, lackluster surfaces, and incomplete detail. While Stracolon was not the culprit, the Denver Mint did use dies well past their normal life as a cost-cutting measure. This elusive 1926D is simply exceptional. It was sold for $38,400. Here is 1942 Washington quarter in PR68 condition. The brilliant centers of this proof quarter are surrounded by concentric halos of crimson, blue, and sea green, elliptical in nature on the obverse and perfect circles on the reverse. It ended up selling for $8,225. This is 1961D Washington quarter in MS67 plus condition. Undoubtedly from an original mint set, this originally an attractively toned Washington quarter displays the most vivid shades of emerald, orange, and gold, particularly on the obverse. The surfaces are delightfully smooth and the luster is nothing short of intense. Also available in an absolute sense, a late date 90% silver Washington quarter issues such as 1961D are surprisingly rare in the finest mint state grades as here. It was sold for $24,000. Here is 1952 Lincoln cent in PR67 plus condition with cameo designation. The PR stands for proof, which indicates that the coin was struck using specially prepared dies and planchets to create a high-quality mirror-like finish. A grade of PR67 Plus indicates that the coin is in excellent condition, with only minor imperfections visible under magnification. The cameo designation refers to the contrast between the mirrored fields of the coin and the frosted design elements. A coin with cameo designation has deep reflective fields and frosted raised design elements. This collectible gem ended up selling for $1,856.25 with buyer's fee. Number 15. This is 1941 S Jefferson nickel with repunched mint mark S over S, graded as MS65 by PCGS. Not only is a large S mint mark style scarce for 1941 S Jefferson nickel, but the present example exhibits a secondary S south of the primary mint mark. Silver grade surfaces are fully lustrous and expectably smooth at the gem grade level. It was sold for $1,840. 1981 S Kennedy half dollar in PR70 deep cameo condition. This is a rare clear S mint mark style of the proof 1981 S half dollar, represented here by pristine low pop PCGS PR70 deep cameo. Silky smooth surfaces are untoned apart from a few swirls of pale gold tinting in the center of Obverse. It was sold for $690. Here is 1956 Lincoln Cent in MS68 red condition. Attractively toned pristine specimen with boldly struck device elements and lustrous surfaces. With nearly 500,000 pieces coined, this issue is hardly rare, even in fully red gem condition. It is only at the MS67 red level that the population sinks considerably. MS68 gems are rare. This one was sold for $29,250 with buyer's fee. This is 1971 S Lincoln Cent in PR69 red condition. Comes with deep cameo designation, meaning it has a stark contrast between frosty golden rose reliefs and mirror-like fields. It fetched a sum of $3,100. Moving on with this 1966 Kennedy half dollar in MS67 condition. All 1966 half dollars made for circulation were coined at the Denver Mint, occupied with 1965 dated pieces through July. It was not until August 1st, 1966 that Denver switched over to coinage of the current year. This odd situation resulted from the Treasury Department's determination to make enough 1965 dated coins to discourage hoarding of that date. Since most of 1965 had been occupied striking 1964 dated coinage, the commencement of 1966 dated pieces were deferred until the final months of that year. All of these deceptions resulted from the real shortage of circulating coins that appeared in 1963, and even greater shortage the government feared will occur when the public began to hoard the old silver issues, because quantity prevailed over quality for many years. These coins were not cared for, making gems rather scarce above the grade of MS65. This nicely toned specimen in MS67 condition ended up selling for $2,040. Here is 1939 Jefferson nickel with double die reverse, otherwise known as doubled Monticello, rated in mint state 67 by PCGS, one of stars of the Jefferson nickel series. The 1939 double dial reverse is an elusive variety that's not frequently encountered. This intensely lustrous steel-grey gem is fairly well struck and aesthetically appealing, and the bold doubling at Monticello and 5 cents is unmistakable. Easily among the finest known of the variety and important to a registry set or other advanced Jefferson nickel collection. It was sold for $2,820. Here is 1942 S Lincoln Cent in MS68 red condition. This is a marvelous, pristine, full red example of the 1942 S Lincoln Cent, showing a bold strike and glistening copper-orange luster. No spots mar the eye appeal. Only a handful of 1942 S cents are certified this fine, and no higher grade pieces are known. It was sold on September 15, 2023 for $12,000. Here is vividly toned 1949 Washington quarter in MS68 condition. The 1949 at 9.3 million coin struck has the lowest mintage for a Philadelphia quarter since 1932. The nearly perfect surfaces are virtually an afterthought on this spectacularly toned coin. The obverse is toned in rich shades of emerald green, scarlet, and lemon yellow that turns to lime green. The reverse is mostly brilliant save for the lower periphery, which shows the same color as the obverse but in COİN rings. It was sold for $17,625. Here is 1939 Jefferson nickel with reverse of 1940, graded as PR67 Cameo by PCGS. The mirror fields are highly reflective and perfectly preserved with sparkling brightness, while the device is show enough frost to please the eye. No signs of toning or spots, and a solid representative of this rare issue. The proofs with reverse of 1940 make up between 5 and 10% of the proof coins of this date, and this ratio is borne out in the population report. This elusive specimen was bargained for $10,575. This is 1957 Lincoln Cent in MS67 Plus red condition. Conditionally scarce superb gem red example of this late wheat-cent issue, rare in this grade, with PCGS Plus designation. Luster is frosty and vibrant, yielding rich copper orange and rose red hues with no carbon spotting. Strike sharpness is similarly impressive. It was sold for $13,800. 1965 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet left over from 1964. Rare transitional error. Graded in mint state 62 by PCGS. Bright silver with a trace of toning on the lower reverse, and lustrous throughout according to Stack's powers, while seemingly innocuous this has all the usual appearance of typical silver Roosevelt dime. But the date of 1965 is when the Clad sandwich metal coinage began. There are few of these known of metal old planchet strikings, but very few, especially in mint state, as these would easily have slipped into circulation unnoticed, as silver coins dominated the coins in circulation for a few years after the Clad coins were launched in 1965. Similar in error to the famed 1943 copper cents, where a handful of leftover planchets were struck in hopper and when coinage began in the new year slipped into production unnoticed. One of the great mint errors of 1960s and an important and rare coin for the specialist. It was sold for $16,450. This is 1949 D Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition with full steps. Not only is this coin a significant strike and condition rarity in a 1949 D nickel, but it is a breathtakingly beautiful superb gem with extraordinary multicolored target toning on both sides, sharply struck and virtually pristine. This coin is sought after by high-quality Jefferson nickel collectors as well as toning enthusiasts. It was sold for $6,000. Here is 1910 Lincoln Cent with a punched mint mark S. S stands for San Francisco branch of the mint, graded in mint state 67 red by PCGS. A pristine example of this rare variety with vibrant olive gold coloration across each side. The fields are blanketed in dense, matte-like luster, complementing the more satiny texture of devices, incredibly sharp throughout, and spared from notable blemishes of any sort. A highly sought-after variety, the 1910S FS502 is an underrated variety that sits in the shadow of more famous varieties like 1958 and 1969S. However, advanced Lincoln collectors recognize its true rarity, and it's often jewel in the most specialized collections. It was sold for $19,200. Another vividly toned quarter dollar, 1951 S Washington quarter in MS68 condition. These San Francisco issues fundamentally similar to most other Washington quarters of 1950s, being common in just about any grade desired. Yet it is also similar to many other dates, in that it is conditionally rare in the top grade of MS68, the grade most desired by serious registry collectors, and grade most infrequently seen. The present coin is deeply toned with original mottled multicolored toning, and frosty untouched luster complements well-defined motifs. It was sold for $7,800. Here is exquisitely toned 1981 D Susan B. Anthony dollar, graded in mint state 67 by PCGS. Outstanding cobalt blue iridescence blankets, the obverse and central reverse, blending with slightly warmer olive gold around the periphery on the reverse. A fully struck, highly lustrous coin with exceptionally well-preserved surfaces for the design type. After only 2 years in circulation in 1981, the coin was produced exclusively for collectors with only 3,250,000 coin struck at Denver Mint, then abandoned until a brief resurrection in 1999 on the eve of the Sacagawea dollar. This attractive Anthony dollar fetched a sum of $2,640 at auction. 1971 Jefferson nickel was missing mint mark S, graded as PR69 cameo by NGC, a valuable and sought-after coin among collectors. Newest variety refers to an error in which the San Francisco Mint failed to add the mint mark S. This occurred during the production of proof coins, which are specially made for collectors with polished dies and planchets to achieve a mirrored finish with frosted devices. This gem fetched a sum of $2,100 on July 23, 2023. 1952 Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition with full steps. Remarkably well-preserved superb gem example of this San Francisco issue, showing virtually flawless fields, with just a few small marks evident on Jefferson's portrait. A tingle of light golden toning accents the satiny mint luster. In full steps, the 1952 is a major rarity in MS67. This gem ended up selling for $7,800. Here is 1922 no-deal Lincoln cent in MS65 brown condition, highly sought-after coin with CAC approval. This high-grade example of the famous no-D strong reverse cent affords an unusual opportunity to examine what this rarity looks like in gem condition, but mellowed with time. The obverse displays a diagnostic mushy strike, the L in Liberty pulled to the rim, and the portrait under-detailed. The reverse, in comparison, is far sharper but still displays a few areas of weakness on the high points of the wheat stalks as typical for this issue, and the tired state of dies. It was sold for $67,562.50. This is 1910 Lincoln cent in PR67 red condition. The upper obverse features blended shades of rose, violet, green, blue, and gold, while the rest of this exquisite, superb gem is largely copper orange. Finely textured surfaces lack any mentionable contact marks. Eye appeal is absolutely fantastic. The fact that CAC has endorsed the coin is appreciated but not at all surprising. Quality is blatantly high-end for the grade. It was sold for $15,600. 1940 Jefferson nickel with reverse of 1938. The reverse of 1938 is identified by the mushy steps of Monticello, contrasting with the reverse of 1940, which has sharply defined individual steps. The reverse of 1938 variety is by far the rarer of the two in proof format, being scarce in any grade and rare at superb gem level. This PR68 coin is one of just 9 pieces in this grade, at PCGS and NGC combined, making it tied for the finest. It was sold for $11,700 on July 20, 2023. Here is 1921 the Mercury Dime in MS66 Plus condition with full bands, a boldly lustrous gem with broadly sweeping cartwheels and pale champagne gold highlights. The surfaces are mark-free and satiny, and the eye appeal is substantial for the grade. The strike is bold and crisp throughout, as should be expected. The mintage for the date, over 1 million pieces, represents the second lowest production run of the design type, taking back seat to just the 1916D rarity. It was sold for $22,325. Here is 1949 Franklin half dollar in MS67 condition with full bell lines and star designation, crescents of extremely vivid crimson red and softer powder blue peripheral toning provide truly memorable eye appeal for this rare Franklin half. It ended up selling for $8,812.50. 1968 Lincoln cent struck on a Costa Rican 5 centavos planchet impressed into a verse of a cent planchet. According to Nemista, 4.84 million Costa Rican 5 centavos were struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1968. Those coins were dated 1967 and struck in stainless steel with weight of 0.875 grams and a diameter of 14.92 millimeters. Bronze Lincoln cents have a statutory weight of 3.11 grams, that's the combined weight of a bronze Lincoln cent, and a 1967 Costa Rican 5 centavos should be 3.88 grams, similar to the weight stated on the insert. A Costa Rican 5 centavos planchet inadvertently ended up in a bin of cent planchets and was fed together with a cent planchet between 1968 cent dies. This rarity was sold for $6,300. Here is undated Sacagawea dollar with very peculiar mint error. Coin is double struck, second strike significantly off center, creating duplicated image of Sacagawea's baby and right half of her bust. Some iridescent hues are evident at borderlines of both strikes. Graded in mint state 65, this gem was sold for $1,920. This is 1970 S Lincoln cent with double die obverse set in nearly brilliant luster blankets both sides of this exquisite upper end gem. The complexion is best in original light orange mint color that glows radiantly under illumination, well struck and without notable blemishes, leaving the doubling clearly defined on the Obverse legends. This CAC proven MS66 red gem ended up selling for $18,000. This is 1964 Jefferson nickel from special mint set. Also comes with full steps designation, a lovely example of this elusive 1964 special mint set coinage that was apparently produced to test the finishes of 1965-1967 SMS sets. The estimate of sets produced range from 20 to 50, although some of them may have been lost to attrition, but other sets may still be out there. This piece shows an amazing sculptural depth of detail that is uniformly absent on business strikes, yet fully equal to the strike on proof coin. The finish, however, is non-reflective, with heavy die polishing lines that are seen with variations on the 1964 SMS coinage. This rarity was sold for $32,900. Here is 1941 Jefferson nickel in PR68 condition, with gold toning, enriched is unabraded and well-struck proof Jefferson nickel, essentially flawless save for a small carbon fleck above the west wing of Monticello. From a low-proof emission of 18,720 pieces, this nickel was sold for $3,840 on July 21, 2023. Here is vividly toned 1966 Canada dollar, graded in mint state 67 plus by PCGS. The regular issue 1966 Canada dollar is scarce in MS66 and rare any finer. This superb gem is an essential acquisition for advanced registry collection. The strike is bold throughout and the surfaces yield undisturbed satiny luster. Both sides show large areas of crimson violet, spruce green and sun gold toning. It was sold for $4,320. And this is 1944 the Lincoln cent struck on a leftover zinc-plated steel planchet, graded in mint state 62 by PCGS. Deep steel gray with marginally lighter high points. Low magnification reveals a small patch of light roughness around the Lincoln's forehead, and at trust, a trivial matter given the strong rarity of the issue, and probably the cause of its mint state 62 ranking. No doubt struck early in 1944 in Denver, when steel blanks of 1943 were being ushered out of system to make way for the 1944 cent. It is presumed that a small number of steel zinc planchets were stuck in press hoppers or tot bins. It was sold for $96,937.50. And that concludes our list of 16 rare coins that you should not spend. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing contents like this. Take care. This is 1944 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a silver dime planchet, a rare error coin in MS63 condition. According to Heritage, the present lot is a lustrous example with light honey gold toning and minimal post-strike abrasions. The high points are incompletely brought up and those areas retain the planchet surface. The date and the mint mark are clear and complete. The strike is uncentered with most of wheat rust and United States off the flank. Liberty and the date have stretched appearance due to unstrained outward metal flow. It was sold for $2,400. And this is 1943 S Lincoln cent struck on a bronze cent, graded as VF certified by PCGS. In 1943, the United States Mint transitioned from using copper for Lincoln cents to zinc-coated steel due to the shortage of copper during World War II. These steel cents are commonly known as 1943 steel cents. However, some copper planchets from the previous year, 1942, were left in the coining presses. These leftover bronze planchets from 1942 were used to strike a small number of 1943 Lincoln cents in error. The 1943 Lincoln cent struck on a bronze planchet is considered a major error coin. This error occurred because the bronze planchets were never intended to be used for the 1943 coinage. The rarity and mystique surrounding this coin have led to intense demand among coin collectors and enthusiasts. The combination of its error status, historical context, and limited availability make it a must-have for serious collectors. This one ended up selling for $141,000. This is 1964 the Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet graded in Mint-State 64 by PCGS. Well centered in strike, virtually the entire Lincoln design is evident despite the slight size differential between the cent dies and dime planchet. Only at the borders do we note a touch of softness, but even there, at least partial detail is evident to the design elements. Satiny and smooth with dusting of pale gold to otherwise light silver gray surfaces. It was sold for $1,920. This is 1958 Lincoln cent in MS67 Plus red condition. More than a $250 million 1958 cents were struck, but very few survive in superb gem condition with the PCGS Plus designation. This specimen comes with distinctive lilac accents around the Lincoln head and rich reddish-orange colors throughout the incredibly smooth, sharply struck surfaces. Eye appeal is tremendous. It fetched the sum of $9,000. Moving on with this wartime penny, 1944 Lincoln cent struck on a leftover steel planchet, the product of famous transitional slip-up. 1944 cents struck on leftover steel planchets are known from all three mints, but those from Philadelphia Mint are the most often seen and ideal choice for collectors seeking a single representative of the error. The higher Philadelphia population is due to the fact that at the facility leftover steel cent planchets from 1943 were still in active use to produce Belgian 2-franc coins, creating a wider window of opportunity for errant planchets to become mixed with normal bronze cent planchets. PCGS assigned clean designation with AU details for this error coin, and it was sold for $16,800. Here is 1943 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet, graded as AU55 by PCGS. According to Stax Powers, an originally preserved example with both sides exhibiting ruddy pewter and olive gray patina. The strike is flush to the upper left obverse border, lower left reverse border. The right peripheral device is mostly off the planchet, but the base of all four digits in the date is kernable to support PCGS 1943 attribution. Those design elements that are fully present are sharp, and the eye appeal is strong. Associated by the date with the famous 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, this wrong planchet error is also desirable due to its brevity of the wartime silver alloy Jefferson nickel series of 1942 to 1945. It was sold for $2,640. Here is 1976 S Jefferson nickel in PR70 deep cameo condition. According to Heritage Auction, this white on black representative is devoid of toning and free of flaws. The strike is full and the contrast is exceptional. It was sold for $4,230. This is 1932 D Lincoln cent in MS67 red condition. A brilliant superb gem with fire orange surfaces and frosted mint luster. This Denver Mint Depression era cent has exceptional eye appeal. Sharply struck design motifs are noted on both sides, and the pristine surfaces are virtually mark-free with minimal carbon flex. It was sold for $8,225. Another error penny. Here is 1972 Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime dated 1964. Graded in Mint-State 63 by PCGS. Double denomination coin displaying shadowy impression of Roosevelt's head on Obverse. Both dates are readily available. This error cent was sold for $7,200. This is 1946 Jefferson nickel struck on a war nickel planchet, heavily circulated coin with fine 12 grade given by PCGS. From late 1942 through 1945, nickels were struck on silver alloy planchets to conserve copper and nickel for the war effort, including use in manufacturing ammunition casings and gun barrel linings. This 1946 nickel was struck on a leftover war nickel planchet and displays a distinct antique silver patina when compared to copper nickel coins of the same date. It was sold for $9,600. This is 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar mated pair with magnetic 5-gram planchet. A remarkable mated pair means errors that requires elaborate explanation. A wrong metal planchet was mixed in with Sacagawea dollar planchets to be fed between Sacagawea dollar dies. The off-metal planchet was similar to Jefferson nickel planchet with a silvery color and weight of 5 grams, but magnetic and presumably with more nickel than the usual 75% copper, 25% nickel Jefferson alloy. The off-metal planchet, which became coin number 1 in this mated pair, was fed directly with the top of Sacagawea dollar reverse die cap and broad struck between the obverse die and the reverse die cap. Coin number 1 indented most of the upper half of the obverse of coin number 2, which has normal reverse. This lot of mated pair ended up selling for $20,400. And here is newly discovered specimen of popular 1969 S double die Obverse nickel and sand. It was recently showcased at Stax Power's auction, graded in mint state 63 plus, read by PCGS and proven by CAC. Doubling on all Obverse letterings are included, except the mint mark. Exciting as a newly discovered example of this rare variety, this is an important choice full red sand. It is attractive with bright, even pinkish rose mint color on both sides. There are few blemishes of any kind and most are so small as to be easily overlooked by the unaided eye. The 1969 S double die Obverse is an extremely desirable variety, having an estimated population of just 40 to 50 pieces based on combined certification service statistics. This elusive specimen was sold for $72,000. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating content like this. See you in the next episode. This is 1940 proof Lincoln sand with exquisite eye appeal, graded as PR67, read by PCGS. According to NGC, the 1940 proof sands are mostly a replay of 1939 in terms of mintage and overall availability, but they are even more rare with cameo contrast. Sand sales always outran those of the other 4 proof denominations, since so many collectors specialize in this series. But the reactivity of copper codes, rapid toning and spotting, finding pristine gems will always be a challenge. This one ended up selling for $2,880. Here is 1945 D Jefferson nickel in mint state 68 condition with full steps. These delectable, superb gem exhibits virtually flawless surfaces. The strike is razor sharp throughout, and there is not even a single detracting abrasion. Also beautifully toned, both sides are layered in soft pastel iridescence of sandy gold, pale pink, ice blue and mint green. Simply gorgeous. The surfaces are simply incredible in their preservation and are graced by delicate pastel hues. It was sold for $2,880. 1970 S Lincoln sand with double die Obverse, graded in mint state 65, read by PCGS. Die doubling on this cherry pickers variety is strong, On in God We Trust and Liberty, with lesser doubling on the date. Satiny copper orange luster complements boldly struck design elements, with no major abrasions or spots. Eye appeal is tremendous. It was sold for $5,520. Jefferson nickel in mint state 66, highly soft after repunched D over D mint mark. The repunching is clear with a loop, but may escape detection by unaided eye. Each side is brilliant and satiny with slight reflectivity discerned in the fields. A few tiny marks are not bothersome, although the steps of Monticello exhibits a typical softness. This coin is otherwise well struck and pleasing. It was sold for $19,800. Here is 1972 Eisenhower dollar in mint state 65, CAC proven elusive gem with type 2 reverse. Lovely golden gray surfaces are luster, satiny and exceptionally smooth in circulation. Strike Eisenhower dollar irrespective of issue or variety. The 1972 type 2 ranks as one of the most important condition rarities produced during the latter half of 20th century. Collectors actively seek examples in grades ranging from AU55 to gem mint state. This example was sold for $2,056.25. This is 1950 S Lincoln Centennial 68 red condition. Pristine surfaces yield pumpkin orange luster and rich satiny texture. This coin is entirely devoid of spots with sharp design elements and incredible eye appeal. an essential acquisition for the registry collector. It was sold for $10,800. 1951 Franklin half dollar in PR67 plus condition. The Philadelphia Mint struck modest mintage of 57,500 proof Franklin half dollars for collectors in 1951. Unfortunately, most of the coins have shallow mirrors, and examples with ultra cameo contrast are elusive. Also, the mint cellophane packaging was not suitable for long-term storage, and many survivors showcase hairlines in the fields. This spectacular plus-graded superb gem displays virtually pristine, brilliant surfaces throughout. It was sold for $19,200. Here is 1974 Jefferson nickel struck on a 1974 Lincoln set, graded in mint state 65 red and brown condition. By NGC, an impressive double denomination 6-cent piece. Lincoln statue can be seen within the pillars of the Lincoln Memorial, across the jaw of Jefferson. On the reverse, Lincoln's beard and bow tie face south near the steps of Monticello. Portions of 1 cent and In God We Trust are retained from the cent strike. This error nickel ended up selling for $5,040. Here is 1976 silver bicentennial quarter, graded as MS69 by PCGS. The silver 1976 bicentennial quarter is an issue not typically seen in an auction setting, unless of course it is PCGS certified MS69. This top-grade registry coin is frosty and brilliant, showing a sharp strike and virtually flawless surfaces. It was sold for $6,600. This is 1958 Lincoln cent in MS67 plus red condition. PCGS reported just 8 specimens in this high-end grade, with none finer. This specimen displays distinctive lilac accents around Lincoln's head and the rich reddish-orange colors throughout the incredibly smooth, sharply struck surfaces. Eye appeal is just tremendous. It was sold for $6,300. Uncirculated 1940 Washington quarter, graded in mint state 66 by PCGS, a coin grading scale is a standardized system used to evaluate the condition or quality of a coin. It provides a way for collectors, dealers, and investors to communicate about the state of coins, preservation, and wear. The grades range from poor P1 to perfect uncirculated MS70. According to David Hall, the 1940D is a low mintage date that has been considered a semi-key date in all grades. Much like 1938, 1938S, and 1939S quarters, this MS66 gem fetched a sum of $1,020. This is 1924 Lincoln cent in MS65 brown condition. Comes with CEC sticker on the PCGS holder. Iridescent pinkish rose and steel blue undertones pierce through an overlay of medium copper patina as the surfaces rotate under the light. Boldly struck throughout, a very unusual characteristic of this often weakly defined date, a smooth satiny gem that makes a very positive impression on the eye. It ended up selling for $2,880. This is 1953's Washington quarter in MS68 condition, vividly toned top-grade registry coin. The 1953's Washington quarter presents a significant challenge for the registry collector, as top-grade examples are major rarities. Vivid multicolor toning encompasses frosty pristine surfaces and sharp design elements. Eye appeal is outstanding. It ended up selling for $5,040. This is 1973 Kennedy half dollar. Error. Double struck, both strikes off center. Graded as PR68 Ultra Cameo by NGC. The color die was not deployed and the planchet was fed widely off center toward 8 o'clock. The second strike was west of the first strike. Remnants of the first strike include the 3 in the date, Trust, and the Kennedy's profile. Due to flank expansion, most of the design is present, though the tops of the L in Liberty and the ED in the United are incomplete. It ended up selling for $15,600. Amazing double denomination cent and dime Mule. 1995 Roosevelt dime struck with cent of worst die. Graded in mint state 64 by NGC. According to Heritage, this satin-near gem displays the characteristics expected of a dime struck with a cent of worst die. The Obverse has only partial rim in God We Trust and L in Liberty are tight against the border. This is because the dime planchet was less in a diameter than the cent die in the dime side. The border displays minor softness of strike, principally on ES of AM. This was partly due to the die alignment, but also because of metal flow on the planchet towards the collar to fill the unexpectedly wide cent obverse die. The strike on the cent is sharp except for minor incompleteness on the truncation of Lincoln's bust near the VDB's initial. This true rarity was sold for $57,500. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content on fascinating world of collecting. Have a good one. This is 1965 Canadian dollar in MS67 condition, a truly astounding example, notable for its superior preservation and remarkable patina. Fans of the superhero genre might call this the two-faced specimen, as it offers two distinct personalities on one planchet. The left hemisphere on each side boasts a rich autumnal iridescence of the olive gold, magenta, and powder blue color. This toning is dynamic and jewel-like, glowing with various shades as it rotates under a light. It was sold for $9,000. 2022 D. Lincoln Shield Scent, graded in mint state 68 red by PCGS. These pennies radiating vibrant mint luster, featuring boldly struck, pristine device elements and distraction-free fields. Eye appeal is outstanding. With overall 59 beads, it ended up selling for $3,262. Here is 1990 D. Lincoln Cent in MS64 brown condition, an error penny struck on a pre-1983 copper planchet. In 1990s, the mint was 8 years into using copper-plated zinc planchets that weighed only 2.5 grams. To say that the existence of this coin is unusual is an understatement. Struck at the Denver Mint, this piece likely owes its creation to the same unknown circumstances that produced the 1989 D copper cent. Planchets were handled in bulk during manufacturing process, and the most wrong planchet errors are attributed to the planchets of one denomination or ally becoming lodged in hoppers or other machinery only to spring loose in a stock of another year or denomination. The 1943 copper cents were created in this fashion as well. This rare error penny was sold for $5,640. Error nickel 1942 piece, 5-cent piece struck on a Lincoln cent, otherwise called double denomination error coin, graded as MS64 brown by PCGS. According to Heritage, this war nickel was struck on a copper cent. Lincoln is nearly inverted relative to Monticello. The outline of his head is readily evident. The truncation of his coat arcs across E pluribus unum. On the obverse, the NT from the cent is apparent on Jefferson's cheek. The chocolate brown surfaces retain hints of brick red. The nickel mint mark is bold. It was sold for $5,760. 1979 Washington quarter, graded in state 68 plus by MGC. According to Jaime Hernandez from PCGS, the US Mint struck about $500 million 1979 P Washington quarters, making it a very common issue. It is fairly common up to MS66 condition. MS67 examples are very scarce. Anything grading higher than MS67 is considered rare. This MS68 Plus gem ended up selling for $2,822.62 with buyer's fee. This is 1925 S Lincoln cent with attractive toning, graded in mint state 65 red and brown by PCGS. According to NGC, despite a fairly substantial mintage, 1925 S cents of desirable quality are quite scarce. Worn examples are quite common from widespread hoarding during 1930s and 50s, and mint state pieces of so-so quality are likewise available. Fully red gems are very rare and tend to be much darker in shades than Philadelphia mint cents. This issue is perhaps not quite as hard to find with decent strike as its Denver mint cousin, but the typical 1925 S cent is mushy on one or both sides. The dies were used way too long and may have been improperly hardened as well, but the result was coins having blurry and grossly distorted features. This specimen fetched a sum of $4,920 on August 20, 2023. The 1911 Lincoln cent in MS67 red condition. The appeal of this full red superb gem to the registry set collector is rivaled by very few others. The coin exhibits frosty copper-orange luster and remarkably clean surfaces with none of the tiny planchet marks and ticks that typically affect Lincoln's shoulder. The fields exhibit minor die fatigue in the margins, but the strike is nonetheless bold on each side. Sold on August 17, 2023 for $9,600. This is 1932 D Washington Quarter. Graded in mint state 65 by PCGS, grade was later proven by CAC. The classic Washington Quarter Silver series from 1932 to 1964 is one that a new generation of collector has moved into backwards, so to speak. The wide popularity and success of Statehood Quarter series drew literally millions of new collectors into numismatics, many of them casual, but the percentage became quite serious. Some collectors have now expanded their acquisitions backward in the Clad issues of 1965 later, as well as the even earlier silver pieces, but the 1932D remains a stopper of the series for the new collectors. The few gems available are capstone for the finest registry sets as well as the finest grade obtainable. The present example boasts impressive mint luster over near brilliant surfaces. It was sold for $17,250. Year is 1953, Washington Quarter in PR68 deep cameo condition. Brilliant silver-white surfaces offer strong contrast between frosty design elements and deeply mirrored fields. From a mintage of 128,800 pieces for this 1950s proof Washington Quarter issue, precious few of which combine a deep cameo finish with superb gem preservation, it was sold for $4,080. This is 1938 Washington Quarter in PR68 condition, a virtually pristine superb gem with mottled pastel toning to universally mirrored surfaces, impressive condition rarity from a mintage of 8,045 proofs, one of the most limited in the Washington Quarter series. It ended up selling for $2,280. This is 1939 Jefferson nickel with reverse of 1938, graded as PR68 by PCGS. According to Stex Powers, silky smooth surfaces are adorned with beautiful silver rose, powder blue and pale gold iridescence, uniformly mirrored in finish, with a full strike and the strongest technical merits available in approved Jefferson nickel. Of this date, it was sold for $18,400. Here is 1926 Lincoln Centennial as 67 plus wet condition. According to NGC, blessed with large mintage and slightly better than usual quality control for the 1920s, the 1926P is easily found in fully wet gem condition from fresh or just slightly worn dies. The example illustrated show what the advanced collector should seek in this issue. These cents are likewise common in all circulated grades. Examples could be found in pocket change right into 1960s. High-end gems are scarce. This specimen was sold for $3,125, and this is vividly toned 1948 Washington Quarter in MS68 plus condition. This captivating superb gem really needs to be seen to be fully appreciated. The obverse is exceptionally vivid with a full endowment of intense steel lilac, salmon pink and gold olive iridescence. The reverse is largely silver tinged, yet enhanced by a nearly complete halo of crimson orange iridescence around the periphery. Serene surfaces are fully frosted and finished, and temptingly close to numismatic perfection. While the 1948 is a higher mintage issue, it is scarcer in gem condition than the lower mintage S mints of the era. Since the S mints were saved in larger quantities, these rare specimens ended up selling for $43,200. Thanks for watching this video. For more captivating numismatic content, subscribe to our channel and activate bell button below this video. And do not forget to hit the like button. Have a good one.